Welcome to Dark Horizon Creations. I'm Mike. This time we're taking a look at the Transformers The Last Knight Voyager Class Autobot Hound by Hasbro. Now, if you hadn't already, please follow, like, and subscribe to my social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get a notification of when I post new content. This time we're taking a look back at the Transformers Premiere Edition Autobot Hound. This is from the 2017 live-action movie Transformers The Last Knight. This is the second iteration of Hound that we've seen. In 2014, they released the Voyager class Hound, which was a smaller scale than this, and Hound had a different alt mode. He utilized the Oshkosh medium tactical vehicle. In The Last Knight, he has switched alt modes to a Mercedes-Benz Unimog tactical truck. The robot mode appearance is screen accurate, whereas the previous iteration was not. The other major difference between the toys is that this particular iteration does not include all of the weapons that we see on screen, which were included with the original release from Age of Extinction. Now, Takara released their MB-19 movie The Best Hound, which includes a screen accurate cover that goes on the back of the truck, as well as all of the original weapons that were included with the Age of Extinction version. So, taking a look at the packaging, you've got your Transformers banner on the right, your Premiere Edition logo on the upper right, the Last Knight banner at the bottom, and some really cool artwork of Hound with his primary gun. On this side, you just have the Transformers banner. On the back, you've got your obligatory product shots, and you can see Hound in both his alt mode and robot mode. On this side, you've got the identical artwork of Hound. So here we have Hound outside of the packaging, and as you can see, he is a really awesome looking action figure. Particularly after the sculpt has been repainted like this, it really brings out a lot of the detail. So let's bring him in close so you guys can take a look at the head sculpt. You see all the molded detail there, including his eyes and the beard and his helmet. And of course, his helmet is removable from the head sculpt, just like he removes it in the movie. And I have to say, I do believe it is intentional that they sculpted his head to look like John Goodman, who is a voice actor for the character, and I think that's really cool. You can see the detail there in his chest, as well as the ammo belts in his arms. I painted all of that. That was just a dull gray color. Painted the gears in his fingers and stuff like that. Repainted his ammo belt, all the grenades, I painted those. Flashbangs, I painted those. These are the 4 guns that he includes. These are the 2 main guns and then 2 smaller ones. He does have a small bracket that you can plug into this port and mount the 2 guns on, and it will angle them over his shoulders. I just left it off. I had no intention of using it. You can see he has these rockets mounted on each of his shoulders. Just a really cool character. And one of the things that they did with this action figure that they did not do with the original release is they actually gave him functioning feet, in that the wheels are made out of 2 halves and they unfold to form his feet to have a more screen accurate appearance the way they are in the movie. The Age of Extinction Hound did not have that. As far as articulation, his head is on a ball joint. The range of motion is limited. Forward and lateral movement there at the shoulder. You've got bicep rotation, upper arm rotation. And you can see that he has a double jointed elbow, wrist rotation, and wrist pivot. That's part of the transformation process. Lift his arms up. He does have waist swivel. Forward and lateral movement at the thigh rotation. And he has single jointed knees. And of course, his feet will rotate You can pivot the toes down. But he's a well-balanced action figure. Now, for those curious about the height of the action figure, Hound stands approximately 6 3/4 inches tall at the top of his helmet. For comparison, I will bring out the deluxe Hot Rod action figure from the last night so you can see how they scale together. Now let's take a moment and talk about accessories. So we will turn him around and unpeg all of the guns so that you can see them up close. So both of the larger guns are identical. This is what they look like. Got a lot of nice molded detail in them. And he can hold these individually like this. And then you have the smaller guns, which appear to be just a mini gun with a handle on it. And what you can do with these is you can actually plug them into these ports on the bottom of the main guns and give him like an upgraded weapon. So it's nowhere near as nice as the weapons that were with the original Hound action figure from Age of Extinction, but they're still really cool. It does give him an up-armored appearance. All right, let's talk about transformation. First and foremost, I'm going to take Hound and close up the wheels. Come up here, pull the torso and the lower half of his body apart like that. Then you want to come up here and go ahead and push his head down and bring this panel over. That's going to form the back part of the truck. I'm going to come down here and rotate his legs, and you're going to untab truck section there, and this little side panel, and you're going to fold that back like this. And the wheel is going to rotate under it like that, and then the truck part is going to collapse and come down like that. You're going to come around on this side and repeat that process. Fold this panel back, bring the wheel around, fold it down, and I'm going to bring the truck part up like that. You're going to come around here and connect the two halves of the front section of the truck. And that's done. And you want to come down here and lower that, which is his ammo pouches and stuff, his belt. You want to lower that down. And let me rotate this back because I had that wrong. Next thing you want to do is pull his arms apart, and this part is kind of tricky. You have to bend his arms, fold these panels open, fold his hands in, rotate this around, bend this, and this little rocket section here that's on his shoulder has to be angled as far as possible because it has to go in here underneath that section there, and you want to rock this back as much as it'll go. So you want to fold that in like this, and You shouldn't have to force this in, and you don't want to, because it'll scrape paint off of these if you do. But they will only go in one way, like that right there. And then you can bring the top of the truck down. On the back, you want to bring the wheel down and rotate that section up, and it's going to tab in right here like that. Come around to this side, repeat the process, and open this up, fold his hand in, and untab this. Let's see. Rotate the rockets around. I think I've got that wrong. Yeah, there we go. And the reason for this angling back is so that you can manipulate those rockets to make sure that they actually fit in correctly. As you can see, if you don't get them in correctly, it's not going to go in. Now, when it snaps in like that, it's in position. And then you just want to tab in these two halves, truck mode like that. You come back here and repeat the process on the rear end, tab that in, and fold the bottom up. There's the truck mode. Now that we have Hound transformed, I want to take a few moments and talk to you about how to attach all of the weapons to Hound in truck mode. First and foremost, I want to point out the back of the truck. Now, in robot mode, this forms Hound's back, the back panel of the robot. In truck mode, this is the bed of the truck. So the first attachment point you have in the center, the center port is for the turret. And you've got these 4 smaller ports, 2 on the inside, 2 on the out. So the first thing you'll need is the turret. And the turret attaches in like this with the angle section pointing to the inside of the truck. Next, I'm going to talk about the primary guns. Now, if you look at the top, you see this flared section in front of the muzzle. That's the top of the weapon. So to attach them, you've got a couple options. You've got a port at the top and a port at the bottom. If you plug them into the port at the top, it will allow the gun to sit lower, more flush with the top of the truck. If you do this, you can't store the smaller guns in this port. And the reason for that is they will inhibit the turret as well as the gun. They'll make it sit up at an angle. So if you want to store the smaller guns there, you're going to have to mount the main guns on that bottom port so that they sit higher. By doing that, you can plug in the smaller guns into these 2 outside ports facing to the rear, and they won't interfere with it. And you can raise the guns up, and you'll have a limited range of motion with the turret, but you can still use it like that. The other option that you have is that you can plug the smaller guns into the inside of the main guns like this. When it comes down, it's only going to come down that far so that that secondary gun is sitting on the top of what is his shoulder. So you can store it like that if you so choose to do so. The other option that you have is there is a MechTech port back here in the back. You can actually plug smaller guns in there to give him added firepower in vehicle mode while he's rolling down the road. So you can have the guns mounted like that. So those are the options for mounting the weapons on Hound in vehicle mode. Overall, this is an awesome collectible and toy. The accessories, the articulation, the attention to detail, the transformation process, all of it make Hound a really cool toy. And he is one of my favorite characters within the live action Transformers movieverse, as well as this being one of my favorite toys. There you have the Transformers The Last Knight Voyager class Autobot Hound by Hasbro.